Significance of this potential meeting. We're joined now by Chad O'Carroll. He's in Seoul. He's CEO and founder of the Korea Risk Group and the North Korea News. Chad, give me your sense. Surprised at this?
Yeah, I mean, it is surprising. This is the first time a US president is ever going to meet Kim Jong-Un, a serving US president. It's come very, very rapidly after a very long period of escalating tensions. And in a way, it's impossible to really think of any other leader except Donald Trump being so quick to accept. I think a lot of your other panelists have sketched out some of the big hurdles that lie ahead. It's not going to be easy to come to any resolution. And it's also important to state that the North Koreans, let's not forget, last November when they tested their third ICBM, said that their state nuclear force was now complete, quote unquote. So from the DPRK perspective, they've been saying for 4 months now that the nuclear program is complete. They've achieved the arsenal that they want. There are those technical experts who still say there are still some hurdles left, but they're in a great position to offer this moratorium without it necessarily having any impact on the final deployment of these missiles. So yeah, they're in a good position as well.
And May is rapidly approaching. Any thoughts on where they might meet? I mean, kind of sketch it out for us. How do you see this thing coming together?
This is a really tough one because on the one hand, you would think normally that a US leader going to Pyongyang in these kind of conditions is not really likely. But I think Trump could be the type of leader that would agree to something like that. At the same time, there's also a history of secret US-DPRK meetings in third countries, things like prisoner exchanges back in the early 2000s taking place in places like Indonesia. The idea of Kim Jong-Un going to Washington seems very unlikely. You shouldn't forget that in 2016, the Obama administration actually designated Kim Jong-Un personally as a gross violator of human rights. So that would add a lot of legal complications for him to visit the US. But yeah, it's a great question, and it'll be very interesting to see where this does take place.
And Chad, before you go, I have to ask you, Moon Jae-in, what will be his place in history if this really does go forward? And again, we've seen disappointment before, so we don't want to jump to any conclusions. But give me your sense of what he's been able to accomplish in such a short period of time.
He's been able to accomplish quite a lot in terms of facilitating this, but at the same time, the North Korean strategy since last year, it's been largely said, has been to get to this very far advanced level of ICBM development and then enter talks. The DPRK wants to be recognized as a nuclear weapons state, and this may be one way they think they can do that. Freezing the program doesn't cost them much at this stage. Having some inspectors come to ensure that there's no more plutonium or enriched uranium being produced is not really a big deal potentially at this stage. So I think there's a long way to see whether this is going to be any breakthrough or not.